Hi, everyone. I'm Ann, and welcome to today's message. What if I told you from Revelation 21:2? I saw the holy city, the New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride beautifully dressed for her husband. What if I told you the Bible describes something so incredible that modern science is just finally catching up? What if I told you the Bible tells you about other dimensions? What if I said there are four dimensions to Christ's love: width, length, depth, and height, which all describe eternal, universal, and transformative awareness? What if I told you there are even more dimensions, that physicists at CERN are actively exploring them and conducting experiments at LHC to analyze the behavior of the particles to find undiscovered hints that could explain asymmetrical matter in the universe? What if I said the SPS has reported a resonance structure that could indicate a four-dimensional mathematic suggestion of the four dimensions in the Bible? Or maybe even up to 11 of them? 11? What if I said they're saying that there are other realms? How about this? Scientists at CERN are trying to open other portals. Well, if this sounds unbelievable, like a bit of science fiction, look it up. I'm not kidding. The most recent information, unbelievably, hit the airwaves in a bombshell of shockwaves all around the world. Because it's not the particles that are causing all the bells and whistles to go off, it is their behavior, which suggests parallel dimensions, which proves serious defects in the current model of what humans know as physics. And the lead physicist stated, and I quote, "It's a crack in the foundation of what we thought we knew." Now let me take it a step further for those of you that are now paying attention. The existence of the particle is oscillating, as if it only exists in part of our space, and they can't replicate the particle. And this lead physicist said, "We're not saying there's a portal to another dimension, but the mathematics suggests that we are brushing up against something other." Oh, yes, let me say this. Everyone else is anonymously talking because it's all supposed to be hush hush to keep us from creating panic and scientific outrage. It is beyond physics, and honestly, it scares the hell out of them because guess what? Not only is it mind-boggling to the scientists and physicists, but it redefines our position within the universe. Now back to my original question. So what if I told you it's not like the Bible hasn't already told us all this? But okay, let's have science have their moment. So what does the Bible tell us? That the existence of spiritual realms and higher levels of reality beyond our physical world are really there. But it doesn't say it in human scientific terms. So people, they just don't get it. But here it is. In 1 Kings 8:27, it says that even the highest heavens cannot contain God, which implies a reality beyond human comprehension and physical space. How about in John 14:2, when Jesus says his Father's house has many rooms, meaning multiple places in the heavenly realms, beyond the material world, and in other spiritual dimensions? How about in 2 Corinthians 12:2-4, when it specifically talks about higher realms, accessible only through divine revelation and spiritual encounter? Meaning there are spiritual dimensions where supernatural and divine events occur. How about Ephesians 6:12, where the Bible talks about our struggle being against rulers, authorities, powers of the dark world, and not against flesh and blood? That these forces of evil are in heavenly realms. Clearly, this talks about multiple dimensions of existence, right? I think you are getting my point. Now, there's many other examples that I could talk about, but I'm going to just leave it there. And some might argue that the Bible, well, it doesn't specifically say other dimensions are there, but That's just a modern word used by science. And again, my point is made. It's definitely specific about spiritual realms, multiple levels of heavenly realms, and the unseen spiritual world. So if the Bible tells us about it and the Bible's real, and Christians recognize that creation transcends beyond the physical world, and there's a vast reality that we can't see, what would be the purpose of keeping it such a secret? Now, what I understand of the Bible is that it tells us all of that because the Bible is our education source and it explains it to us so there's no excuse for not knowing. So, if you act like you don't know and you just continue to sin and act out and you go to hell, it's your own fault. And it gives us insight into the nature of God so that we can understand Christian faith. It gives us hope to know where we get to go next when we leave this earth that has really mostly been ruined by humans. And the Bible is a testament to us so that God can tell us what is next and let us decide what happens. If we're even smart enough to try and fix what we've done. If we even dare to awaken to the reality of the truth of the Bible. So take a moment to think about what I've said. And then here is another thought. Why is it so hush-hush by officials? Well, for the exact same reason that they hide ancient ruins and control history to maintain power. Because if you realize who you truly are and what you really can do, they no longer will have control. And my friends, I hope you get your nose in a Bible soon because the Bible tells you all about that too. You see, secrecy is a powerful tool. And the Bible, it exposes it. There are spiritual realms and dimensions of authority that exist way beyond our earth. We are humans made of God Himself with the Holy Spirit within us. And we operate at a frequency that I have spoken about before. We are projections and vibrations that operate in a world that the government controls by changing the frequency of the universe to control humanity. And there's plenty of science about that too, in case you just think I'm crazy. And if we all figured it out and realized who we truly are in relation to creation itself, we become free and we receive the inheritance of Christ promised in the Bible, which is our birthright. And once we get to that level of Christ consciousness, we are pure blessings, value, worth, and affirmation. We will get to live in a continual state of bliss, simply by becoming the fullest expression of who we are. The great I am that God speaks about in the Bible. It is love revealed in pure light. And that means through everything from the largest galaxy to the smallest little particle is seen for the existence of Christ revealed in each of His creation. A destiny that holds all things together by internal and cosmic vibration and manifestation. A true infinite energy as a reflection of man below and Christ above. You see, maybe Einstein wasn't so crazy after all, huh? God really is calling you to cross into a supernatural divine life. He is calling you home to your heart that vibrates and controls everything in your body. The absolute truth is that once you surrender fully, you have both heavenly and earthly authority. And that is something the human government cannot control. So my final question for you is, who is in control of your life? In a world where you could be anything, choose to be loved. Love is the answer. If this resonated with you, please like and share my post. And thank you for your donations to my divine mission and for helping me to keep my messages alive. I'll see you tomorrow.